Welcome to another episode of Behind the Now. Today I get to chat with filmmaker and executive Sofia Rovaletti. Sofia is an Argentine filmmaker and executive currently serving as the Director of Development at MoJo Global Arts, developing films, TV series, and docu-series with talent. Before she moved to LA, Sofia worked at several production companies in Argentina, and she was on the production team for the 2018 Youth Olympic Games opening ceremony in Buenos Aires. Sofia also participated in the production of notable films like Operation Finale and the Argentine masterpiece Zama. Listen in to learn about Sofia's journey as a filmmaker and executive, as well as her visa journey as a creative from Argentina. Hi, Sofia. Thanks so much for joining with me today. I'm so excited to talk to you. I met you in person at an event, and it's really cool to have you on my show.
It's my pleasure to be in the show. I was listening a couple of episodes, and it felt so nice and genuine to hear the journey of these people, because I feel like I can really relate to a lot of the troubles that they were going through, but also, it cast a light in a lot of processes that I wasn't sure about how they go. Definitely a very genuine and a learning experience through every episode. So it's my honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you. And it's true, because everyone has such a different story in this industry, which is why I love, meeting people like you. And I'll first ask you, how did you get into, so you're a creative and development executive at MoJo Global Artists and a filmmaker, and how did you even know you wanted to be in entertainment at all? And then you can also go into how you ended up in LA from Argentina, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, that's an interesting journey. So to begin, why and how did I know that I wanted to be in entertainment is when I was 8, I watched Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
And I was fascinated. I was like, this is insane. Nobody can have come with this idea of this world, these characters. They have even different languages and all these creatures. This cannot come from somebody's imagination. Somebody might have saw it. They saw it and then they went and write it down.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. I was convinced. So it really made me believe in magic, and there was something bigger than our boring daily lives, doing homework as a kid. I don't know. Eventually, a couple of years later, I saw the behind the scenes.
Oh, for Harry Potter?
Yeah, this was I was 10.
Okay.
They were a lot with Harry Potter. There was a lot of specials on TV showing a little bit beats of how they made the movie.
Yeah.
And then it dropped, and it's okay, there is hundreds of people behind this,
wow.
And every single one of them is imagining parts of the movie, and it was and even at that age, I was able to think wow, if there is a group of people that is capable of create that emotion, that impression in kids and people like it did on me, I want to be one of those. That's the power that I want to have.
Yeah.
The power of making an impression of people and making them believe that there is something greater and more wonderful and fun than our daily lives.
Yeah. I love that. So cute.
Yeah, I was fascinated. So at 14, I knew that I wanted to be a filmmaker. Originally, I thought that I wanted to be a director. When I turned 15 in my quinceañera, because I'm from Argentina, Latina, and all that, my family gathered. They bought me a DVD player because I had a TV in my room, so I could watch a lot of movies. Because my activity during the weekends was watching at least 3 or 4 movies per night. It was insane. So I knew it from there. Then I just straight out of high school, I went to study filmmaking in Buenos Aires. I was from another state.
Yeah.
So it was a very hard move for my parents. I did the transition. I studied, and by age of 20, I already finished because it was a 3-year filmmaking school.
Okay.
But it was kind of an associate more than a degree. So I started working as a PA because I kind of discovered through the school that I like production more than directing. I didn't feel ready to be a director. I felt like I was that I was lacking experience, that I was lacking experiencing the world. How this person would live, what would this character, I couldn't imagine how a certain character would think of the story or how they were. I couldn't see that. So I felt more comfortable, and it's like it really runs on my veins to be like anything logistics, logic, production, problem solving. That's definitely me. So I started to working as a PA and everything that you can imagine. Argentina is it has grown the last years with streaming, but it's a very small industry. You wouldn't really call it an industry. So I literally have to wait for somebody or to decided to change careers or die to get into a production team. It was very, very hard. I started producing in some like independent plays. I work in commercials as an executive assistant or production assistant.
Yeah. In Argentina, you mean, right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
Okay.
Everything you can imagine, even like marketing and like corporate events, anything that I was producing in different stages. I also work in the Youth Olympic Games that was celebrated in Buenos Aires 2018.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yes, and it was the opening ceremony, which was very artistic. We worked with an amazing group of creatives. It was very hard, the hardest and more difficult things that I've ever done, probably because historically, it was the first time that the ceremony was done in a public space and it was open to the public. And it was free. So for that, we need a lot of security measures, a permit from the city and everything. And I was in charge of that.
Wow, that's crazy. So you're like organizing all of that. You were how old? Like 20-ish or something?
By that time, I was 24. Yeah, I was 24.
Still, that's a lot, you know?
Yeah, it was insane. No, 24. It was crazy. I had to cry, but I make it happen. I purposely cried. So please give me this. Let me do it. It was like, it was a fantastic experience and very funny, amazing team of people. So
are you still in touch with some of those people or no?
Actually, I was thinking the other day, I was seeing a friend of mine that ended up moving to Australia. And I was checking her Instagram. I saw her on Instagram and it's like, I haven't seen her in so long. But then a couple of them I haven't seen because they're in Argentina, but could keep in touch because they were very good friends. They got married. They have a kid. So it's just some of them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So eventually I worked for a production service called Operation Finale. That it was like an MGM and Netflix production service. And I realized that there was like a bigger structure than the one that we're used to in Argentina. There was like a development team thinking about the packaging of the movie and those aspects. So that's when I discovered it. But when I tried to apply for like an executive assistant job to start like the development route, at the time in Argentina, you have Turner, you have Disney, you have Fox, but there was no Netflix, Amazon at the time. They kind of rejected because my degree wasn't an official degree. It was like an associate.
You think that you don't like that doesn't really matter for, you know, but anyway.
Yeah, you would think so, but especially if you're a person
you have so
like
much
me,
experience and
but also I didn't have any connection in these companies. All the people that I knew, it was like crew members or small production companies. The ones doing the production services, not the executives. I have 0 ins in there, so it's not that, because it's easier to get when you have a connection, right? And I was young, I didn't know how the network works, that you have to go networking, meet people, is it reach out on LinkedIn? I have 0 idea because again, I come from another industry that is way more like crafty in Argentina. So I was like very disappointed, and I went back to school to another filmmaking story. It was like bachelor's in audiovisual arts. So I studied the same. And while I was studying, I realized that I could do an internship because I was like in the world, but especially in the United States. Because if you are you have a status of full-time student in a university during the summer break, you can do like an exchange visa that is very similar visa like the one that people come in for working holidays. You know, when you go to Colorado and you see a lot of foreigners and they are like in the ski resorts. They come in a working holiday visa. Work, travel around the United States and go back home. I think it's pretty much the same. So I said, this is perfect. If I get an internship in the United States, I can leverage that into a job in Argentina in Turner, Netflix, in Turner, Disney, Fox. So I did that in my summer, which is the fall here, the spring internships here. So I landed an internship at Shoreline Entertainment.
Oh, wow.
Without knowing anything about acquisitions of development or anything.
Cool. So pause quickly. So did you just apply for that online and happen to get it? Or like
this is a whole another story. I was looking for internships online. Literally everything was online. And I found a program that at the time was Dream Careers. I think they changed their name after something like that. This was in 2000. I found them in 2018.
Okay.
And basically you have to pay them and they secure you an internship. So it was like a company that already have like relationships and agreements with companies that were looking for internships.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't even know that exists. Is it specifically for outside of the US and stuff or not really? Or
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not sure. I don't think so because I met randomly one other person that knew about this program and there was not necessarily only people that were foreign. But it has internship in LA, but also in New York and in London. I think it was Tokyo too, and Spain. So it wasn't only the United States. I think I was the only intern during the time because it was in the summer. They usually get more people in the summer internships. And I came in the fall because it was my summer. I was the only one here. So I never connect with anybody from the company. But they basically, I apply, I pay them for the service. They took care of the visa in general. I mean, I pay them, of course.
Yeah.
And that's how I landed the internship with Shoreline Entertainment.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, it worked. It was a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, if you are outside the United States and want to do an internship here, look for those programs because they exist. Yeah. Of course, you have to pay the money. You have to pay to come to do the internship, which is tricky.
Yeah, right. Because you feel like you're not making whatever. But
yeah, it's an experience. So I came here. I did an internship for 4 months, and then I went back home to keep school, my semester. I finished the semester, and in July, who was the director of development at the time calls me and tells me, "Hi, how are you, Sofia? Are you thinking on coming back to LA?" And the funny thing is, I have met a couple of people that I just randomly have told, when are you coming to LA? I was like, yeah, probably in July. Why? I don't know. Maybe because we do have a 2 weeks breaks in July. I don't know. And in July, he calls me and says, I mean, I would love to. I would love to when I finish my degree. Yeah. And it's like, oh, great. Because Maurice Ruskin, one of the owners of Shoreline Entertainment.
Okay, got
he launched his own company. It's a production company, and he's going to be focusing more in feature films, a bigger scale feature films, TV shows, and scripted content. A lot of things that Shoreline doesn't do because Shoreline is only a sales agency.
Okay.
And I had an opportunity that I couldn't say no, so I'm moving out from the company, but I was thinking if you would like to come to replace me, not as a director of development, but more in a creative executive kind of title. So what do you think? And I was like, yes. And so, well, when can you come? And I was like, well, I finished my degree in December. This was July. And he was like, well, I'm leaving in 2 weeks.
So can you start the new company, which is this company? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So can you come in 2 weeks? Yeah. And I was like, how do we do that? It's like, well, I don't think we can sponsor you yet, but can you figure it out? And I was like, of course.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So in 2 weeks, I left my apartment that I just got the lease. I left. Wow. I had pay for things, those kind of things, I don't know, the gym membership that you pay for several months in advance. I have a million things of that I have started then it's settling in Buenos Aires. And so, okay, I'm leaving. I called my dad and it's like, Dad, are you seating? And he's like, yeah, what's happening? What's wrong? And it's like, I think I'm going to move back to LA. And he was like, just go.
Yeah, so
do
cool.
It.
So this, so far up to this point, this all came from that first internship, right? That's how you connected with them. Wow.
Yeah. So cool. Shout out to internships. They're really, really important and valuable.
You never know.
And I wish people has told me more about this. Again, in Argentina, things managed in a different way. I feel like if I understand better how the system works when you get out of school, I would have done many things differently, but I don't know. Maybe this is the way it's supposed to be.
You can always think like that because we all finish school and know nothing about it.
I know. And nobody really tells you in school. In school, they don't tell you anything. Yeah, you don't understand anything.
It's like, trial and error a lot.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I started as a creative executive, and now I'm finally the director of development.
Wow.
I renew, and this is, I feel like could be interesting for people that it's in a visa situation like me. I renew the J1 visa that I had before. Actually, what happens, because I finished a semester after my first J1 visa, I was able to go on another J1 visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without being in school, are you still in school? Or like
technically you are a full-time student. Like at least in Argentina, in my school, I still had the status of full-time student because after my first internship, I came back and I finished a semester.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So
totally.
So I came here for 4 months, went back for 4 months, and then I moved back to LA.
Okay. Cool.
Because my university, and this depends on the university and the institution, was a public university in Argentina. I was way more flexible about like the timing that you need to finish your degree. I mean, there I didn't pay a penny for school, and it was one of the most amazing educations I ever got. Like
amazing.
The teachers were fantastic. It just like blew out my mind, the things that I learned. And it's funny because before knowing that it was trending in Hollywood, diversity issue, we already have a full class talking about diversity and how do you say, like, and the different perspective for like from like white hegemonic directors, because you can be Latin American and still be white. Can have like a British, German, or Spanish descent and overlook people that has like native descent or all this. So we were,
so
and
like
of course,
a big conversation already.
Yes. So it's diversity within the people that is diverse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
So that was like a fantastic from that school. And then so I asked them, like, can I go again on an internship? And because also it was a different company, it was not issued by the same company technically, because this was the new company, I could do it. So for people to think about and have experience, and I think this works again, not only for the United States, try to do internships abroad while you're in school. Take the summer semester, do well in your grades, and then like save some money, work while you're studying, and do the travel. Yeah. And then, well, I've been here. I was very lucky because COVID happened. My visa was extending until September.
Okay, because of COVID.
No, actually, my visa was a year from, because until the paperwork came up and everything, it was like from July, August to September next year. And then COVID happened in March. So from September, I got an extension of 6 months. So my visa ended up being valid until February 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I was lucky enough that the program that I joined in Argentina got online. So I could finish school online all in 2020. Yeah. So it was great.
That worked out perfectly.
The stars aligned, basically.
Yeah.
And it was a great moment to grow. MoJo, it's a small company, so it's very hands-on, and Morris is one of the best bosses you can ever have, like ask for. He literally allows you and helps you to grow and allows you to put your hands on the things as long as you like go guided by him. Like, so you can learn how to do these things, and he's open to ask you any questions and to bring projects. So he allowed me from an early stage to bring projects, bring my opinion. Yeah. Very, very open person. I can't speak more highly of him. So I've been with them, love working with this team, trying to sell things in this very tough market right now. We have a TV show that is our first TV show that is coming up in the fall. So I'm very excited about that.
What's the show? Can you say?
Yes, of course. You can check it out. The trailers, it's online. It's a Murder in a Small Town.
Okay. Wait, that's amazing.
Yes, it's going to come on Fox and in the rest of the world in ITV. So we're very excited. It's like a crime, procedural, fun, mystery. It was great.
Very
I'm
cool.
excited.
So
Yeah.
internally, was that something that like came across your desk first? And then you were like, we should do it? Or like how?
Particularly that one came across Morris because it's also based on a
Okay.
book. And Morris was like, okay, let's do coverage on this. And I work in this. I suggest some notes on the scripts and in the pilot and the second episode. And then from there,
Yeah.
we like another executive in our team found a production company that we partnered with, and eventually they took it to Fox and then us to ITV, and we became like,
Okay.
yeah.
Wait, so so to break that down a little bit more, and it doesn't need to be like this exact show, whatever, you know, any example, but what's generally the process from nothing to a script, or like I guess you get it from like a script to then getting something made. And I know most things probably don't get to that stage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But so when it does or when it doesn't, what's kind of just like the process so people understand how it works on your end?
So for feature and TV, it's a slightly different, and the interesting thing, the fun thing and the challenging thing is like every project is different.
Yeah.
According to the characteristics of the project, you can have one route of go or another one. For example, a TV show that we're start pitching now, that I can tell you the process from the beginning, is like, I found this project. It was like a TV show that already had a pilot.
Okay.
The writer...
it had a pilot
written already.
Filmed?
No, written.
Yes. Written. Oh, yeah.
Written,
okay, got it. So it had like a full draft, like a full pilot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And ideally now are looking, I mean, some people would like, some companies would like finance the pilot.
Yeah.
Would be able to they have development money to pay for somebody to buy the pilot and develop the idea. And in this case, the writer already have the pilot and kind of like a treatment of the first season.
Okay.
And ideas for the second and the third one. And she came to us and said, well, I'm participating in this market and this other one. And I'm getting rejections. And it's like, I think it's because, for example, at the time, I made an analysis of the project. It's like, well, based on what you're telling me, I think the main issue of the project is like, we need to cut, the pilot needs to be shorter.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Then it was like the hardest thing to do to convince the writer. And then I made an analysis like the pilot needs to be shorter. We need to develop more like clearly the arc of the seasons. I would strongly recommend changing the setting because it was like set in the 80s. And now the 80s is starting to be considered again like period because we're just already in 2024. So it's 40 years ago. It's crazy to think about it.
Yeah, it is crazy.
So I was like, and it also, I feel like it makes sense for your story to bring into the 2000s, for example.
Oh, okay.
Because 2000 still, it's not considered period. It's not that far away.
Works.
And it was like a very trendy time now. So I did my analysis and was like, okay, we need to work on this. And the first thing that I would suggest with TV shows is to find a showrunner. If you don't have the bandwidth as a producer or production company to find the showrunner, I try to make a list and a strategy of other production companies that would be good partners for us to find the showrunner and then to sell it to a buyer.
Okay.
So preferably, I like to reach out to people that already has a deal, especially how tough the market is right now. And there's like a few production companies, a few showrunners that have deals with Amazon, Netflix, Hulu. Yeah. So I try to approach them.
When you say, specify a little bit more when you say like has a deal already. What is that?
So for example, I'm trying to think. I'm thinking now because I have it fresh in my mind. Lord Miller, the production company, has a deal with Universal. So basically, Universal pays them to bring them projects specifically.
Oh, okay.
So, and they established a relationship that they're going to work together producing certain amount of projects.
Oh, interesting. And that's been something that, so that's like open knowledge kind of. And it's also like, like.
If you go to Variety Insider Deadline, they usually announce when a production company or an actor or, I'm thinking about this because it's a Latino actor, like Diego Boneta, the Mexican actor, has a deal with Amazon. he has a production company now, and he is basically he has like a straight connect. Basically what they're telling you have a straight line to send this project, and we have to work.
It's like you definitely have somewhere with like the project you're creating, you have like a guarantee that it'll stream with us, sort of thing.
If it's a development deal or a producing deal, yes. If it's a first look deal, it means like we have the first right of refusal. Like you have to send it to us, and we're gonna immediately see whatever you send us whatever you're sending us, but we're not necessarily saying yes.
So it depends. It depends on the deal, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, and of course they not all the time say yes, and especially with actors. I think the deal expired, but for example, Viola Davis, I think she used to have a deal with Amazon. And like a lot of actors have that, not only production companies, but showrunners and actors have that.
Yeah. Occasionally you'll see like on breakdowns or something, or like, I don't know, before a show, but now you're bringing a lot of clarity to it, because you'll see like, you'll see that sometimes, like a little note, like,
like production company, big production company with a streaming deal or a studio deal. That's what it means. That it's somebody that it's already attached with somebody with money.
Right. So it'll definitely, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So to go back a little, cause I kind of interrupted you here, but you said, that like when you're packaging something, you'll make sure suggest that they find a showrunner or a company that already has a deal. You were saying,
yes,
right?
Yes, or a company that it's if you're if you're in a small company or a medium-sized company, or if you feel that a struggle as a producer, or as a writer, that is like find the production company that even if they're not able to get you investment, that they have the connections to bring a relevant showrunner. Okay. So that's also, so the strategy number one is like, reading the project, seeing, does this has potential? Is this what the market is looking for? It's creatively good. It's originally, maybe it's, I don't know, it's a horror project and the market is saturated about projects. So about the horror project. So not right now, I'm looking for this other thing. So that's the first step. The second step is option sign an option agreement, a shopping agreement, a collaboration agreement, depending on the assets that the writer or producer that is bringing that project to you has. Yeah. And then after that, after you sign a deal, you unfold a strategy saying, these are the companies that I want to partner with. And these are the buyers, meaning distribution companies, streamer companies that would be looking for this project and make sense according to their brand. Like, so I'm not going to send,
like, we're going to pitch your project to these
companies.
Buyers.
Yes. Like, I'm not going to pitch like an edgier show to Disney. So you're like basically analyzing what is the brand and how is the brand connected to the project. And meanwhile, that happened, I work with the writer to improve the script, to develop more the seasons,
so like
giving a lot of notes.
So back and forth, like with drafts and everything.
Exactly. Create a pitch deck that very clearly shows the information of the show. Logline, concept, theme, why here, why now, a character description, the descriptions with the arts. So you can see how the character is going to grow, that the character is unique, that why the people is going to connect with those characters. Sometimes if it's a TV show, you can have episodes ideas or the episode breakdown, or it's like, if you want more, request the Bible, or let us pitch, and do the oral pitch, and then we're going to send you more information. After we have the pitch deck with this information and the pilot ready, I work with them on the oral pitch, which is very fun.
I
like it. It's like, it's funny because it's rewriting the story and the pitch deck again. Remembering why you connected this with the story originally and why other people will connect with it. And it has to be in no more than 15 minutes.
Okay. And who are you working with exactly on this pitch? Like, or does it depend? Like sometimes it's like,
usually the writer.
It is the writer.
The writer, the creator. The writer creator. That's the person who you're. Yeah.
And that is, you're working on them on that oral pitch because like literally for meetings with buyers. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Or showrunners, like we had a pitch with the showrunner to try to get them like this is the story. Because what happens is like a lot of times I find projects from upcoming writers that they don't have the credit for buyers to give them the chance to be showrunners.
Okay.
So we do need to bring in a showrunner with experience to work alongside the writers.
Okay.
And keep the writers in the writers' room and collaborate. So that's also the people that we do the pitch, showrunners, other production companies to partner with us, and buyers.
Okay, wow. So probably first, if you are a writer that probably wouldn't be like a showrunner yet also, then the pitch is first for like for showrunners.
Yes, or for production companies that could help us bring the showrunner.
Okay.
Yeah. But I decided to do not go to buyers with shows that do not have a pilot or a showrunner.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just a waste of time. They just like find reasons to say no.
Okay. Wow, that's so cool. It's fun. I mean, it's like, it's a lot of work, obviously.
Yes, it is. It is. Especially, to be honest, finding the project, I feel like it's a tough part.
Yeah. I want to ask you too. I know you hear this all the time, right? And people say like, is it like good? Like, is it ready for the market, or like, is there an appeal? And I always wonder, like, how do you really determine that? Like, just kind of based on just like what's popular now and articles. And I know there's like actual studies and stuff sometimes, but like for your note for that one show to set it in the early, the 2000s instead of the 80s, because otherwise it's like a period piece and then that's like a different thing. Yeah. How do you kind of know that? Like, where does that come from?
Because as a development executive, you're all the time talking to the buyers. Like every beginning of the year and mid of the year, you're like calling, say, hey, let's get a coffee. Hi, I wanted to know what your mandates are right now. Okay. You're talking with it all. You're like requesting me to catch up. You're also, as a development executive or as a producer, you need to be in touch with other people in the industry and like catch up, like what's happening. But basically I learn everything because I talk with those companies and ask them, what is your mandate right now?
Interesting.
And also I see what's available. I'm all the time watching TV shows and films to see what's available right now.
Yeah.
For example, the note of the 80s came from, because I knew I was talking about like, and nobody wanted to pay for anything that was like period, etc. Although there's always exceptions.
Right.
Because Bridgerton, I don't know.
I was thinking that too. But
so, and then they told me, we don't want to do anything that it's related to the pandemic. And then The Last of Us came. And it's like, are you? So
there's always exceptions. That's true.
There's always, if somebody big comes with an idea and it's very cool, despite the period, despite the, they're going to do it. But so I know, for example, what the market is looking for right now, which again, always have in mind that everything is going to change every 6 months.
Yeah.
So ideally, ideally don't go after what the market is looking for. Yeah. Because by the time you find the project that is what the market is looking for, somebody else
gets anywhere, like you can't really predict it, but it's still like a factor somewhat, I guess.
Yeah. Like for example, right now, going back to the 80s, that was right when Acapulco came out. Acapulco is a TV show in Mexico that the plot has zero to do with us, very different, but it's set in the 80s. Okay. So it's like having two Mexican shows, basically in English or Spanish, but they're both in the 80s. Kind of thing. But then, so I combined those two notes, understanding that the Acapulco was there and understanding that a lot of the companies were starting to consider the 80s a period piece because now it's being 40 years.
Yeah. So then it also becomes a different genre. You're saying it's not just like a period piece is it'll be like its own thing.
Yeah, it's more like a budget thing for them because it's not period piece. It's not the proper period piece, is more in terms of budget than in genre. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, for example, right now, something's happening that I'm trying to say, okay, I'm tired of running, being the hamster and running on the wheel. Like I'm trying to get ahead. It's like, now nobody's buying TV shows. Nobody. Everybody's looking for feature films.
Okay. Interesting. And what I don't know what creates that, if you know, or if you can speak to
the market laws. America is a liberal, it's liberal country in economic terms. So follow the market and understand the industry. Like I know we're all creatives. We come from filmmaking, from love to art and music. And actually we need to be more aware of how the laws of the market and like supply and demand.
Right.
So yeah, now, and that's what I was thinking, is like, it's so hard to find a showrunner right now. And I was like, I'm actually very hopeful because nobody's buying shows right now, which means that shows are not going to be made in a couple of months, which means that showrunners are going to be available.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So because they're not going to be working as much. I said, let's keep pushing to find a showrunner. In a couple of months, in July, August, they're going to be available. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Yeah, no, but it's like smart. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's very smart.
And now everybody's looking for movies. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to just drop the TV shows that I have, because in one point, everybody's going to already have the movies that they were looking for. And they're going to be looking for TV shows again.
Yeah, and it's always like a changing thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's just about, it's jumping on the wave at the right time.
Yeah.
It's surfing the wave at the right time.
Right. And then one more thing is when you said, you're always talking like with buyers and you like, that's how like the market side of it, is that for them, it's data driven, right?
Yes.
Like they literally know like viewership and stuff. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
But it's like, I mean, you have to think about it. Like if you're a supermarket, I don't know, and you have all these products, you have the night, you have coffee, you have a sleepy tea, you have like a refreshing drink for the summer. Netflix, they have the same. They need to have different things to basically feed different needs of the viewers.
And like different, and there's like so many factors, right? The weather,
so it's like, okay, we have a lot of sleepy tea. We need more like refreshments for the summer.
That's such a good, it's so obvious, like kind of when you say it, but it's really a good analogy because I think we could easily like overthink or like, it's true, you know, it's in every, it exists like in everything. So it's exactly the same, you know?
Yeah. And then also something that I would like to find eventually, because it would work every year, it's like a Christmas movie. The science of the Christmas movie is not easy, because when people think Christmas movies, you immediately think about Hallmark. Okay. And the Hallmark, I don't know, it's not my thing. I don't find the exact formula about how to do it in a way that you say, okay, I'm following the formula they're going to buy, but I'm still kind of relevant and unique enough so they can buy it. Yeah. And for very low budget, I don't know. It's tough. It's interesting. And I feel like it's an interesting combination that you have to apply. But I would love to do like a Christmas movie that becomes a classic. Yeah. That everybody keeps watching every year. Yeah. That it would be amazing. Yeah.
Okay. So that's out there.
Horror movies work well because, every year comes Halloween. So that's why a lot of people start with their horror movies. Yeah. And even if like now they're saying, oh, we have many horror movies. And one time you're going to need them again.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
certain things that are always I guess everything has its time, but still,
Exactly. There are things that are always, always, always coming back, and there are things that become a trend. So it's just like, I don't know, every couple of years, a musical becomes trends. Like a couple of years ago, came Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, all at the same time. Then you're not going to hear any musical for a long time, and then they're going to come back.
Everything interesting. It's like fashion. Fashion is like that. Yeah. It is. Totally. Like things are out of fashion and like, whatever. And then they just come back and it's like literally the exact same as like another decade. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, cool. And then let's shift gears a little. So you're a filmmaker as well. So it's outside of your day-to-day work also. Or like, I shouldn't say that, both.
It's okay. Makes sense.
So you had a film recently have its world premiere at a film festival, but talk more about that. Was that your first? Just talk about your process as a filmmaker now, like for filmmakers listening to this, because there are. Like where to start with that and how you got into filmmaking side, which is similar. Yeah.
So the short is called The Interpreter, or La Intérprete in Spanish. It's a Latinx and Spanish and English short films that has some like social rights, that touch the themes of social rights and women's conflict. And It's not my first short film. Technically, it's the first one with which I actually build a strategy beforehand, and I saw where it was going. The other short films that I did, maybe it was just like me exploring and just doing whatever I wanted to do.
Like experimenting.
Without thinking if somebody would be interested in the story or not, if I'm boring my parents to death with them watching it. Actually, one that I did before it got into 2 festivals, but that was it. Very small festivals. This one, our world premiere was at La Leaf, the Latino International, Los Angeles Latino International Film Festival.
Oh, amazing.
That was in May. And we are very excited. The way it came out, I reconnected with one of my best friends from high school. She's an actress, and she has to work very hard to write a short film to showcase her talent. And unfortunately, she got a very bad experience with people that did a dreadful job. I wanted to cry when I saw the result, especially when I saw that her acting was so good. And I already have read the script. I thought it was like a very cool story.
Yeah.
And I was just like so mad. And I was like, why didn't you tell me this? Why I should connect to other people? I was just like, no. And it hurt my soul that she invested so much in it. I remember, because I did theater with her several years, I remember how good she was. And then apart from that, I spent a couple of days with her, and that experience resulted in this story. Like she was at the time working as an interpreter for American or English speaking doctors with Spanish speaking patients.
Oh, wow.
So she was translating for them. And that experience of the job was actually very fun and interesting for me to experience and see her doing it. Because even though that I have been living in LA for 5 years, I was next to her when she was doing it. And there were words that I did not know at all. I'm going to say maybe everybody says like, how do you know that word? But whatever. The word is cyst. Like a cyst, like a cyst in your breast.
Okay.
And there was a call when the doctor was trying to tell the patient that she had a cyst in her breast. And I heard the breath, like the breath.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And my friend was freaking out. I was like, I don't know what that is. Cyst in the breath. We're not making him say, I know what cyst means, but it doesn't make sense. The breath part.
Oh, and my God.
We both misunderstood breast for breath because the accent of the doctor.
Yeah.
And apart from me, I didn't know what cyst was. So I couldn't help her. And then they got mad at her. Said, no, I'm going to find somebody else it was horrible.
God. So
the story kind of like talks about that. And then she had a personal story of a friend that going through something very hard and medically. So what we did is combine those 3 stories, like our friend or her friend or this person that we knew.
Yeah.
Going through that medical experience, that it was very cruel.
Yeah.
And then her experience as a translator, and just the desire to help her bring up her acting in front of the camera, and my desire of do things that I can see, like to materialize something, because working in development for so long eventually kind of makes you feel that drain. You're not seeing in a screen anything that you're doing.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm just interrupting you. But
no, that's perfect.
But just because it's so cool, and like it's so cool to hear the process and everything. But like statistically, right? How many, or like if you can speak, like how many things? Because you're saying like it's so satisfying, because this is a film that you knew you were making and you were going to see it on the screen and it was going to get made. But how many, just in general, or not even a number, but just to get an idea, like what percentage of them actually get made? Because you actually work in development, so
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I do know that I have like at least 60 projects in development right now.
Yeah.
And 1 TV show came out.
Yeah, 1 came out. Okay. Yeah.
So I can that's a statistic.
No, just because people don't.
We sold a couple of them, but none of them were in development.
Yeah.
So, and there's people that has more bigger companies have bigger bigger
Right.
amounts of
They'll just have like
projects.
more, bigger. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So go on though. So, yeah. So for this film specifically, the interpreter, that's beautiful though. So you combine,
Yeah.
so that story came from such a truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why it makes sense for me as a director. I could see the story.
Yeah.
We created together. She wrote it, but I told her this is the structure. It's this character happens this and this and that, and then and this was in May 2023, so last year. And I told her, write it down, and when you write it and send it to me, I'll know that we're making this. But until you don't send it to me, I'm just gonna forget about this.
Yeah.
So this was May. In July, she sends me the first draft. We finished we go over notes. We finished the script by August. We start pre-production in August, and we shot in September 18. 1 day of shooting. It's a very contained story.
Yeah.
Edited in September, October. November we started color, music, sound, and sound mix, post-production. And by Christmas we had the short film ready and hired a distribution agent person that would like start sending it to festivals. So
so they did. So you had someone else do the festival, like
yes, I definitely recommend that. She's amazing. I can share her contact.
Like have friends and stuff who I think will do it themselves or maybe with someone. But
it's draining. It's draining. It's exhausting. There's a lot of things of the festivals that people don't really know. I kind of know because I was in development and in sales too. So I understand how it works, but you have to build a strategy. You have to understand which festivals are really interested in your story you're going to take. Like, for example, like there was like a lot of women or female filmmaker festivals oriented on women themes and topics, social rights. So for that, I knew I have a festival strategy because I knew that the story that I was telling was relevant for them.
Okay, yeah.
So that's the first thing. Whenever you want to do a short film, do it.
Know that.
Think about who would like to see this.
Right. That makes sense.
That's a good exercise.
Yeah.
So recommend it. She's amazing, Vivi de Rosa in Argentina. So if somebody needs a festival strategist for shorts, she'll be great.
Okay, amazing. And did you film that where was that film?
We actually shot in New York because my friend happens to be in New York during those days. And for me, it was make more sense to go to New York than to go to shoot to Argentina. Okay. So we shot in New York. We had like a house, everything. So.
Oh, it's so incredible. That's so awesome. So is it still is it still going to be at festivals or
yes, it's in the festival. Cool. Yeah, it started its festival running in January. So we have not been invited to any other festivals yet. Hopefully.
Yeah, you will. You'll hear.
But we still have like a year and a half of running still festivals. So.
Okay, cool. Amazing.
Thank you.
That's very exciting. So that's that's like your last project so far. That's happening right now. That's out. Okay, cool. Amazing. Sophia, I'm going to ask you a few fun random questions.
Okay.
Is there anything else first you want to know? Okay.
No, that I can think about.
Okay. Okay. If you were a professional athlete, what sport would you play?
Oh God, you're asking the wrong person. Actually, I do have a reply, but I'm not a sports person. But I would be a professionally. Okay. I don't even know how to say in English, but I would fencing. I would do fencing.
Oh wow! Yeah. Why you would like it? Like you like watching it? Or
I always like it. You know when you watch Hey Arnold and you have. I loved it. And then a friend of mine, one of the ones that I work with in the Youth Olympic Games, she used to do fencing. So she took me with her and we did 3 months classes of fencing in Buenos Aires.
Oh, wow.
And it was the most amazing experience.
That's cool.
They don't let you touch the sword until you're so I barely touched it twice.
Okay.
Yeah. At least in this school that I went, they were very,
makes
very.
Sense. I mean,
they teach you how to step and move, and after that, when you're doing that right, then you can use the sword.
Oh, cool. See, I've never done any fencing at all. That I don't even know that.
But it's so exciting.
So you know a little more. That's cool. Yeah. Do you have a favorite word? Any language?
Favorite word. Oh my God. Favorite. I think there's maybe some, but I can't think of it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. No, I don't have one.
Okay, and then
I don't have a lot of favorites in general.
actually,
so.
me too.
Yeah,
I'm so happy. Like, yeah. I say that people like when you first meet people, it's always like, what's your favorite? Everything, like favorite music,
I
favorite
don't
movie,
have
favorite
it.
everything.
Yeah.
I barely ever have favorites either.
I have a group of favorites.
Yeah, me too. And I can like make stuff up, I could be like, this is because of this, but it's not necessarily like really my favorite. It's not like I watch it every day or like,
Yes. I'm not obsessed with anything. Yeah.
I'm like that too, actually. Very similar. What's your horoscope sign?
Oh, my horse. Want to guess? Do you feel like I like show myself as a specific sign?
I would never be able to guess, but I'm gonna just like, I don't know, Taurus? No.
Well, actually, I have ascendant in Taurus, so kind of close. I'm actually an Aries.
Oh, you
Aries.
are close.
Yes.
That's they're next to each other.
Yes, Aries with ascendant in Taurus and moon in Scorpio.
Oh, good job. I just said Taurus because I'm a Taurus.
It's like, I don't remember one right now, so I'm going to say that one. But I mean...
okay, cool. And then, so this is called Behind the Now, but I always ask, like, how do you be the now? And that's up to your interpretation. Like,
how do I be the now?
Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Be the now. Well, that's a good thing. I feel like being the now, the way I interpret it is just like to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for me because I'm always thinking about the next step.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to be ready. It's not that I don't like the present.
Yeah.
And it's being it's difficult to remind yourself. So sometimes I just took a second to stare the window, and say like, wait, remember all the things that have happened this week.
Yeah.
Sometimes reflect. I'm like, I don't remember what I did last week. Yeah, reflect.
Yeah.
Just go to some nature, like go to a hike. I feel like that's the best way to be the now. Because when I'm walking, hiking, or exercising, I just put music and I think a lot of things, and that helps me. Okay, instead of thinking what's happening next, think about all the things that have happened in the last week.
Yeah.
And it happens to be this couple of days that we were talking, and it was like very long for me with a lot of things happening, and I was like, it felt so fast that I just want to take a second to remember that all these amazing things happened, because then I forget. Then what's the point of doing them if you're not celebrating, enjoying, feeling happy that you achieved those things? Yeah,
I love that. That's so cool.
So the short answer is like stopping for a second and just think, remember.
Right. And just like, like track, because it's easy to lose track of the process of all the like everything, you know what I mean? You're just like, you're always doing or like thinking of the next thing, but it's easy to be like, wow, at this time, like I didn't even know about what I know now. Like that didn't even exist in my mind, you know?
Yes. And speaking of that, something that I do once in a while, I don't have like I'm not like checking to do it often, but sometimes it happens like, what day is today? What was I doing this day last year?
Oh, I love that.
Or this day 2 years ago. And then it's like, whoa, that was before this and this happened. I was living in another place.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, whoa, last year I was living in another place. I didn't have a boyfriend. Now I have a boyfriend. Now I'm like single, a different person. Yeah. And if you check where were you the exact same day, the year before or the year it's incredible the things that you find out that I
love that. I actually I don't do that often. Like the exact, that's cool.
Yeah, I think like something good. Instagram helps me sometimes, or the iPhone, helps me to think about that because they makes you like, they send you reminders.
They're like, memory, you look.
I know. Some good, some bad.
Yeah, sometimes it's because you're like, oh, I was so happy that. Or the opposite, Yeah.
Yes, I didn't want to remember this.
Yeah. You're like, delete. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, cool. Well, where can our listeners find you, or is your short available to see? Probably not yet, right?
Yeah, not yet, unfortunately. Until the festival run ends. Yeah,
so we have a trailer. See about like where the festivals will be or anything to come.
So the short film Instagram is La Intérprete Corto.
Perfect.
So it's in Spanish. So
Okay.
I can, yeah. And then my Instagram, it's my name and last name, Sofia Rovaletti. That MoJo's Instagram is MoJo Global Arts, which is the name of the company too. Please follow us. And in the short film Instagram, you're going to get updated about where to watch the short film.
Okay, cool.
In my Instagram, I don't use it that much, but sometimes I post cool stuff or needs or support and share some cool stuff other people is doing. So, and in MoJo, we're like posting a lot of the things that are coming up. They're very interesting. We have a lot going on that hasn't been announced, so I'm excited about that too. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you have amazing things going, and it was so nice to talk to you. And thanks for doing this.
No, thanks to you again. It's my privilege to be part of your podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. I'm your host, Jenna Malatsky, and this episode was edited by Jacob Mammen. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube at jenna.malatsky and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts at Behind the Now with Jenna Malatsky.